Hey, Church Board, this is Noah Terry. I am originally from Blanchard, Louisiana, and now I live in Bethany, Oklahoma, where for the last 4 years I have studied pastoral ministry at Southern Nazarene University. And over these last few years, I have begun to develop my own personal rules of life, and these rules are practices that I have placed in my life to help my daily spiritual development. And some of those things include prayer and scripture reading, silence, and journaling. I try to take at least 10 minutes a day for silence, and I like to do my prayer and scripture reading in the morning. But silence, I try to do at least 10 minutes a day, either at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. This is a practice that I just recently have started, and it really helps me focus in on the day that lies ahead or the day that I've already had. And I've also found that journaling has become a really big part of my daily routine. One of the things that I've implemented through journaling is taking time to write down the names of the people that I meet, and taking time to at least once a week pray for them by name. Journaling was something that I began to realize was an important part of the way that I process emotions, and it was something that was suggested to me upon learning about the Enneagram. So I'm an Enneagram 2, and that means that in the most basic ways to put it, I love to help, which is true. I do love to help. And becoming a more self-aware leader through things like the Enneagram and through the Strengths Finders, I have found that it has helped me realize the ways that I lead. And as a leader, I lead first and foremost with love. And I try to intentionally lead, so I lead with intentionality. And I also lead with presence. I learned a long time ago that the best ways to lead come with knowing the people that you are leading. And that's where my vision for the church comes in. You see, I see that the church is something, it's so important. And it was so important for me growing up in my community. And so I want us to be a church that knows our community. People who are present in the community, in the surrounding community. One way that I think that we can do that is by starting community services. So I think a really important part, a really important thing that's sometimes overlooked is that we are called to be the church. And a part of doing that is doing things for other, and to be a part of doing things for other outside of our own local congregation. So I want to form a network between denominations so that we can join forces to be a light in our surrounding community. Some of the things that I want to plan with that network would be things like a community-wide service where different pastors and worship leaders and members of the congregation get involved, and we do this one big worship service. When I was growing up in Louisiana, we had this thing called sunrise service on Easter, and I know that many other communities do that. And it was just all together, and we got together and we had a little sunrise service celebrating the resurrection. And then another thing was during the Thanksgiving season, we would all get together as a congregation, as different congregations, but together in one location, and just worship together because we all serve the same God, which I think is something that is so cool and that breaks that denominational divide that sometimes is evident in our world. And it's something that I really want to be a part of, being the change towards not a non-denominational, but a church that is unified together because we all have the same common goal. And another thing that we can do through that is, I was thinking through community outreach, is seeing the needs in our community and filling them together. Because when we are unified, we are able to do things better. I mean, unification brings about so many awesome things, and I think that that's something that we can do together. And so one of my ideas was to start a thing called, I don't really know what it would be called yet, but something like seeing your neighbor in need, and then just alerting us to that. Thank you for your time.